Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. You join me on the Benelli Leoncino Trail 800. I'm going to take it for a spin, let you know what I think. Check out this dash when we fire up. This thing's great. Chase the lion. Right, without further ado, let's see what it's like. So a lovely smooth rumble of the twin there. No notable vibrations coming through on startup. One thing I do note though is that the bike is quite high actually, the seat height. I'm not quite flat-footed both sides. Nice big comfy padded seat though, loving that. So this is Benelli's offering for the urban scrambler market, if you like, the Trail 800. It is actually a 752cc machine. I can feel right away this thing's got a bit of poke to it, no problem there. So the Leoncino 800 trail bike from Benelli. What is this thing? This is Benelli's answer to the urban scrambler. It's a really nice looking bike, I have to say. As with all the Benellis, they do put a bit of effort into how the bikes look, I think. I can see this one now does have a nice TFT display on it. Everything's nice and clear on there, that's what we like. Seating position isn't completely sat up right, I am leant forward a bit on this one. Brakes feel really strong. These are Benelli's own brakes. The guy at the dealership there, kind enough to let me take this one out. It's Rainbow Motorbikes in Ashburton. They've got a huge selection of the Benelli bikes there. But he tells me that the same company who make these also manufacture the Brembo brakes. Now I can believe that because they do look similar, and to be fair, you know, they work really well actually. They're very strong, great. So there are no complicated rider modes or anything like that on this bike. It's quite a simple to use bike, as with all the Benellis. Like I said, they have upgraded now to that really nice TFT screen. At low speeds I can feel that the throttle is a little bit snatchy there, just at the beginning. As with all bikes, so you change from bike to bike, they all have their characteristics and things that you need to get used to. Very smooth though, lovely smooth motor. Well, seeing as we're on the edge of Dartmoor National Park, be rude not to, wouldn't it, on a bike like this? I'm going to take it for a little spin, perhaps do the Dartmoor loop. So I've had a bit of a look round this bike there at the dealership, and something that surprised me of all of the Benellis that I've ridden is that they're now coming with some, you know, some pretty good quality parts. This the bike's coming with the Scorpion STR Rally tyres, and they are known to be really good tyres, and they look the part on this bike as well, which is great. I mean, let's face it, these bikes that are often you know, aimed at us as scramblers are never actually going to be used as scramblers, but we like the look, they are cool. This one's a really cool thing to look at. So cost on this bike is £7,200 on the road, all but a penny. That's including all your fees and whatnot, straight out of the showroom, which is a pretty good price, I think, for a 750cc bike. This bike definitely wants to go, urging me to twist the throttle and have a bit of fun with it, but unfortunately we got some wet crappy roads today around these lanes. I can't be doing too much of that. I'm pretty sure actually that the switch gear is the same on all of these Benelli bikes, and so we end up with a couple of buttons on here which are defunct at the minute. I'm sure once you buy this bike you could you know, make use of it, but these switches here don't do anything, I'm told, which is interesting. But they are, you know, they would be ideal perhaps if you could wire up fog lights or you know, maybe some heated grips or something to it, so that would be quite good if that's possible. The state of these roads, maybe Dartmoor wasn't the smartest choice. It's a scrambler, these things always look better dirty, don't they, so I've got to do it justice. So suspension on this bike looks big and chunky, which is great. However, it's not adjustable, certainly not on the front, probably is manually on the rear. But once again, I found that the suspension does feel quite firm on this bike. I'd perhaps wanting to be winding that down on the back a little bit if I can, make that a little bit softer, but it's got quite a sporty feeling, this bike, with the engine. Look at this beautiful bridge. What an excellent place to ride bikes, eh? Stunning round here. Make a Peugeot. So it's been interesting discussing the Benellis as I've been test riding some of the range over the last week or two, and it seems that the consensus is that people who own these bikes generally seem to be very happy with them, and they found them reliable, and they don't seem to have too much problems getting parts. I mean, people have told me sites that you can look at to get them, and yeah, the parts seem to be there. Get it shipped to you, no problem. The dealership reckons he can get parts shipped to him the next day for the bikes that he stocks, so no problem. So I think we can begin to have faith in these Chinese brands, and Benelli particularly. Each one that I've rode so far I've been quite impressed with, and like I say, I found them to have some premium parts on, and you know, they all look nice and they're all priced really well. So no quick shifter, nothing like that on this, no hydraulic clutch. Nice, basic and simple, easy to maintain, easy to replace parts. You do have adjustable clutch lever and brake lever, so you can move that for you. There are markings here on the handlebars as well for your adjustment positions. This one is adjusted to top center there. I would perhaps for me bring it back just a little bit, just to encourage sitting upright just a little bit more. But the bike actually feels quite sporty. Shame it's such a wet day. So the Benelli Leoncino 800 Trail, like all the other Benellis in the range, is coming with a 2 years warranty, both parts and labour. So that's quite reassuring. It shows they've got some confidence in the product. Like I say, a lot of the comments that we've been getting online seem to be pretty good about these Benellis. I think I've only heard of one person there that he had an absolute fault on his bike and had to return it. Everybody else is really happy. And it doesn't matter which brand of bike you've got, you're always going to find those stories, you know, there's always going to be one or two like that. Disperse with the traffic, we can move on a little bit. So yeah, it doesn't matter what, you know, whether you've got a big boy brand or whether it's a Benelli. You know, all bikes, you know, they're just made of nuts and bolts, aren't they? You know, sometimes things go wrong. It's how you're looked after that makes the difference. The handle's really nice. Now, it is notable when you move this bike that the bike is very heavy. I'm not sure the exact stats on that. I'm not one of these guys that's going to know every detail on the bike for you, but I will list the specs below for you on this one. I just want to tell you what it's like and whether I think it's worth its money. Oh, suspension is very hard, I have to say. That's a bit of a complaint for me with this one. But it's very smooth to ride. The initial throttle, the initial bite is very on-off, it's very jerky. But once you get past that, the acceleration and power delivery is actually very smooth. Wow, look at that guy. How about those views then, eh? Beautiful place to ride, Dartmoor National Park. Something that I'm really appreciating on this bike is this big, comfy, plush seat. It's a really good seat on this bike, really nice. I reckon you could sit on this for a great deal of time. Good strong engine braking. Let's nip in here to this car park and we'll have a little look around the bike again. What are you doing? Don't make me brake on the grid, fuck's sake. Oh, look at that. What a cool looking machine that is. Right, let's do a few more miles on this one then. So I did mention the weight earlier and I looked it up because it does feel quite heavy, and this bike weighs 224 kilos, which is a lot for a bike this size. But I have to say, you only notice that when you're picking it up off the stand or moving it around. As soon as I'm riding it, no problem at all. But that's probably something to consider if you're a smaller person perhaps, along with the high seat height on this one. It's not massive. I'm 5'7" with a 30-inch inseam, but I am almost tiptoes both sides. "15-litre fuel tank on this one, so that's a fair sized tank for a bike like this. It's going to get you a good range on this one. And because it's such a good sized motor, you know, you're not going to be using it to its full capacity most of the time. I know, not the best day to have a white dress. Congratulations. A really nice smooth rumble coming from this engine. It is the Trail 800, but I believe it's a 752cc. I'm not entirely sure if that's the same engine that will be in the TRK 702. I'm not sure on that. Perhaps some of you guys will know. Now, as always, I'd really like to hear from anybody who has owned a Benelli, and particularly the Benelli Leoncino 800 Trail. And I'd like to know what your experiences are, especially regarding reliability and parts availability, because it seems to me that these seem to be good quality bikes, to be fair. I've got no complaints riding them at all, and for the price bracket that they come into as well, I just can't understand why you're not seeing more and more of these on the road. I think we will do over the next few years as confidence begins to grow within the Benelli brand. But if you get chance, get out and go and ride one. These guys here in Ashburton, my local dealer, they're more than happy for you to come out and take out one of the demo bikes, and like I say, I'd recommend that you do that. Come and give one of these bikes a go. So I haven't had opportunity to try this bike at speed yet. Perhaps I'll get a little blast on the dual carriageway in a minute. I'm not expecting wind protection to be very good. Of course, there's no screen on this one to speak of, just a little fly screen. I really do like the LED lights on this bike. Again, all the Benellis, they seem to have really good quality, really bright LED lights. The range of movement on the gear lever is very small. It does immediately click into gear, no problem at all. It doesn't feel sloppy at all, anything like that. Just a simple cable clutch. Well, although a hydraulic clutch, okay, maybe that a little bit smoother, but you know, if you have a problem with this, you can just change that yourself. Very simple job to do, and I like simplicity. I think, you know, me and Eva obviously both own Africa Twins, but if things start to go wrong with that, we're going to find it a lot harder to deal with. Whereas something like this, you know, I think you could feel fairly confident you could do a lot of the jobs on this yourself. So this bike is all but a penny, £7,200, and I think it's worth every penny of that. I think they've priced that just well. Okay, it's going to have some good competition in that price range, but you know, I think it deserves to be up there with the sort of mid-range to more premium end of bikes. I think these Chinese bikes now, Benelli in particular, have moved away from being, you know, the real budget end of the scale. I think they're offering some fantastic offerings. The quality seems to be there now. I think it is worth £7,000. This is turning into one of those bikes that's a real joy to ride, actually. I'm really enjoying plodding along on this. I'm sure this bike is capable of much more speeds and a fun factor than I'm getting the opportunity to use it for today. But if you just wanted it as a Sunday plodder as well as a Sunday toy, this would be great. You definitely won't be wanting for power on this, that's for sure. Plenty quick enough, no problem. Some nice noises coming from that exhaust pipe, don't know if you can hear that. I do love a twin. Okay, so we have an opportunity now to join the dual carriageway, and we'll see what this bike's like at a bit of speed. We'll roll on the power. Yeah, plenty of power there. Fly screen's actually doing a reasonable job of wind deflection. Of course you wouldn't expect anything amazing, but I'm not being battered around, and it's a very windy day today. Well, we can definitely say on the faster roads, no issues with power at all there. There's no issue with comfort at all. I think I could probably go a good distance on this bike. I mean, sure, it's no bolt upright tourer, but yeah, it's a bit of a joy to ride, really. No major problems with vibrations at all. I mean, it is a twin, so you know, there's a little bit of vibrations as you would expect, but power delivery is very smooth and progressive, plenty of it. The only thing I would say is just the initial start of the throttle is a bit of a bite there. Perhaps that could be smoothed out a little bit with some mapping or something, but yeah, overall very impressed. So special thanks to these guys here at Rainbow Motorbikes and the Recharge Cafe. If you're in Devon, I highly recommend these guys. Pop down, have a look at the range of Benellis and have yourself a nice cup of coffee. Well, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again on the road next time.